Hello guys, and welcome again to Eswakago YouTube channel. And as I tell you always, this is where I want to educate you, inspire you. And every day, I want to make you learn a new thing here at Eswakago YouTube channel. Today, this minute, I would want us to think about why you should start your own company. Like, people complain so much nowadays about there are no jobs and stuff, but have you ever thought about creating job? Like, you can create jobs instead of searching for jobs. Even here in America, most people think that the only thing they can do when they get here in America, they can only go knock on doors and ask to be hired and make money that way, and be that person who works from 8 to 4 or 7 to 3. So why haven't you ever thought about hiring yourself? Is it because of fear? Because so many people have not started to do the thing they think they can do, not because they do not have the capacity, but because of fear. The word fear only has 4 letters, but that word has taken down so many from when the world was created up to date. So many people have failed, not because they are failures, but because of the word fear. When people come to America, and I believe it happens everywhere else, when they come from other states, other countries, maybe Africa, people come to America with only one purpose. About 100% of the people who come here, 100 people who come here, 80% or 90% goes to look for jobs, and maybe slightly 10% they are the people who think of hiring themselves or continuing to do the things they used to do before they relocated to America. I don't know who gave people this mind of you can only come to America to be hired. No, guys, I want you to unlearn that and learn that you can be able to register your own company and be able to hire yourself. You do not have to go knocking on doors so that you can get hired. Of course, you can do that at the beginning because you need capital and you need to settle down. But 1 year later, if it was your dream to start up your own company, it does not take much. And I know number one reason why people think that they can only go knocking on doors to look for employment instead of creating jobs themselves. Number one thing, I talked about fear. Number 2 thing, people don't know the process of registering a company is very easy, and it doesn't require 10 people to start or to register. It just requires you. You can go to the website actually online. It is not an office that you're gonna knock it. You can go on your iPhone or on your phone, and then you Google Secretary of State. That is where you're supposed to go and register your business. Secretary of State of Kansas, Secretary of State of Iowa, Secretary of State of Chicago, Secretary of State of Washington, any state that you're in, you can be able to do that. Probably in Africa it's a little bit harder because you have to go, or maybe it requires you to go through people. But here in America, and I believe it is the same case in Canada, it is the same case in UK or Europe, it's the same case in Asia, whereby we do not have corrupt offices. In America, all you need to do is to go to Secretary of State of your state and register your business. You can either do it as the sole person, or sole owner, or as a group of people. It does not have a limit, but remember to put it as LLC because you are just starting. So after you register your company, because it's gonna require you at the end of each year to do or to file taxes, you need to be active. You can still file if the business is dormant. Of course, there is nothing to file for, but I would urge you, when you do taxes at the end of the year, the state will reimburse you some dollars. That is something people don't know. It is not always about paying them. Sometimes, depending on your accounting, they end up paying you. So, why should you think about starting a business instead of getting hired? Number one, if you are in America, you know how hectic it is to balance kids' life, to balance jobs, to balance everything else that is requiring you. And some people also considers going back to school. So to strike the balance, it is much easier to start up a company so that you can have the flexibility. You need flexibility, whether you have kids or not. You do not have to live in America as if you are under punishment, as if you are in a cell. Because so many people talk bad about these Western countries simply because they go for the wrong things. You do not have to be hired by anybody. You can have your own schedule, be your own boss, and if need be, hire more people that needs jobs. But I want you to consider this. If you think to go the business way, make sure you are in a business-friendly state. Not every state in America encourages business. Like a business cannot thrive easily in some states, but the same business can thrive so good in other states. That is why you need to be very much knowledgeable. You need to do your research well and get to understand what state can this business thrive at. Why am I saying this? Because you need something called labor. If you are working, I have a cleaning business and I'm based in Kansas. In Kansas, it is a lot more harder to get labor. You have the job, people are giving you the work, but you do not have labor. How does that limit you? Whenever you open a business or whenever you are working as a company, you do not only need your income, like the personal income, you are trying to get a broader way of earning income. How do you do that? You can only be able to do that when you have people who are working for you. So, when you have a company, you need to be somewhere labor is not an issue. I'll give two examples in America where you can move and have no problem with labor. California, you can do so good. You can do so good in Seattle. You can do so good in New York. I'm talking about those three because I have researched and I know for sure you can thrive there. However, they are very expensive states. But ask yourself why. The most states that are expensive, they are very much business friendly. So people only focus with, this state is very expensive, I cannot go there, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. It is expensive because it's not supposed to remain a state for people to go for looking for jobs only, but it also accommodates in a bigger way people who are going after businesses. That is why they are expensive, because money is there. But we only focus with, the state is very expensive, houses are very expensive there. Yes, they are, you are right, but the reason as to why is because they are very friendly when it comes to thriving in businesses. So guys, stop focusing on just one way, like you can only be hired, you can only work like 8 to 4 or 6 to 6 jobs if you're a nurse. And the next point that I want people to know, you do not have to be an expertise of the company that you wanna open, but it is good to have basic knowledge. What do I mean by this? I can start up a business, an agency to provide to provide employees or workers. That is an agency. I do not have to be a nurse to be able to provide nurses as workers. All I need is to know how to go about the job, the basic skills that I need to start up that company and how to hunt for these nurses. Like, you do not have to be an expertise. An expert on a certain area to be able to offer services. When I started my company as a cleaner, janitorial services, I did not quite know how to even charge people. what to do. I knew what to do because I have done professional cleaning as an employee, and that is why I tell people, whenever you go work somewhere as an employee, never ever go to the grave without utilizing that knowledge working now for yourself. Please stop wanting to work up until you die for someone else. At least split your ears and make sure that you are depositing most of them into you other than into someone else's company. I know so many people talk about we cannot all be business owners. But again, who told you you cannot be one? Who told you you cannot be one? Stop limiting yourself to just being an employee. You can still be an employee and own a company. You see? For example, the professionalism that I received when I was working as a professional cleaner in a hospital in Missouri, St. Louis, I used it to open up my own company. I have also worked as a caregiver. I use that to have a company of the same. You can do bigger things than just one thing. Please, in order to succeed in our today's world, you need to open up. You need to be broader than you are right now. Stop being this narrow when you can spread your wings and get higher and higher and higher. It does not matter what job you do. You need to think about starting a company of the skills that you already got. And you know what? This America, because I talk about America because that is where I am based. That is where I have enough experience to talk about America and Kenya. Because I'm born Kenya and I now live in America. I can be able to tell about both. Here in America, the pool is so huge. The pool is so big. If you have fear to start up a company, any company, and you would want to know how to go about it, talk to me on the comment section, or you can email me at esiwakago@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook as Esiwakago. You can find me in TikTok, as Esiwakago. Instagram, Esiwakago. Everywhere, Esiwakago. So let's gather the courage and jump right in. You cannot be that person who has been employed in the same field for 10 years as a BSN, and you have never ever thought about starting a private clinic. Or you cannot be working. You cannot be working in a laboratory and for 10 years, and you have never ever thought about coming up with yours. You open one here in Kansas, you open another in Iowa, you open another in Texas. Before you know it, you have a franchise of so many of them. And that is how people become rich. And when you become rich, don't forget about me. Just come and tell me, Essie, you said something that made me to wake up. And remember what? There is nothing ever that will ever happen in your life in an extraordinary way until you make it happen. That company you have ever thought about, it will never be until you wake up and face it and say, you know what? Right now, it is the right time and I'm gonna do it. I can do it. I know I can. It does not matter how many times you're gonna fail. It does not matter how many challenges you're gonna face. But at the end of it all, you will have it and you will see why you had to do it so much. Okay, guys? Bye-bye. And don't forget to keep on keeping on. Remember, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Cheers, guys.